That's how it's going to be sometimes. Sometimes your tape reading session is going to have real world things pop up, and the dog's tearing up the carpet. The kids are complaining, and you got to go in there and take care of them. It's taking your focus away, and that's no different than what was going on today. But just stick to the task. Over time, you're going to get a little bit more experience and a little bit more experience, and over time, you'll have a model, you'll have confidence and experience that you can lean on and say, yeah, I've been here before. I'm not all that together interested in seeing the market run higher, as I was indicating today. It could have done it, and it's okay. You would see me get it wrong, and if it went up 500 handles, you'd be like, you got it wrong. But the takeaway is there's not something that's being executed where there's a loss. You're looking for your model in a context. You're looking for a narrative and why price should do certain things. And over time, those things will make more sense to you, because when you hear it first time explained to you like that, it sounds like, oh, he's just kicking the can down the road. I had paid mentorship students telling me that in the first month, the very first month, because they wanted signals. They wanted me, here's the buy, here's the sell, here's the stop, here's the target. And they thought that's what I was running. And they signed an agreement knowing that that's what that was not that. We're just tape reading. I'm teaching you market characteristics that tend to repeat. And over time, you will see the ones that you trust because you've seen them happen in your own hands and being called out. And that's all these things are. That it's for you to grow comfortable from looking at a chart where there's nothing on it. It's a blank, naked chart. In the beginning, nobody knows what's going on. That's the opinion. I would be impressed if someone tells me what this all means. But then when you start breaking down the language that we have, it helps you fortify a rule-based idea, and anticipatory price skills are the default result. But you don't know what those things are going to be for you uniquely. It might not be the fair value gap. It might be an order block. It might be something altogether different. And if you're struggling right now and you don't have a model, you are the very person I'm teaching right now for, because you haven't spent enough time. And I say that, and some people get their ass all twisted up saying, man, fuck this guy. He's an asshole. I've been doing this for 3 years. Yeah, you can do 3 years of all the wrong shit. And you showed up and you put yourself in front of charts and you pushed buttons when you shouldn't have been pushing buttons. Yeah, you've been doing something for 3 years, but you haven't been listening to what the fuck I told you to do. Don't take trades, read price action, build a library of logged time, reading price with no expectation in the outcome. I promise you, every single time I had a student that came forward with that bullshit, the first time I said, okay, show me your study journal. Show me where you're logging everything. Well, it's always bullshit. You're a liar. You're a fucking liar. So how are you going to come to me and tell me to fix your problem when you're hiding the problem from yourself? So when I come out here and I do tape reading, I want you to hear what I'm saying about why this is problematic. This is a point of contention for current order flow. Now it becomes 50-50. It needs to do something beyond where we're at right now to set the stage for it to deliver to what a model may call for. I went in bearish. I'm looking for lower prices. If it went higher, it would run without me. And that's something you take away as an observer, as a student, and say, okay, he didn't take any position. He had no PD rate called out, or he would have took a loss on that. It just ran away. That would be filed under a run that was no participation. You didn't lose, but you gained experience saying, okay, because I'm talking about what these PD arrays are doing real time and how they should behave. After I speak, we watch and see if it happens. And the things that I'm bringing to your attention that are problematic in this market environment, that's the advantage that you got. You got 3 years, I'm sorry, 3 years, been doing a lot longer than 3 years, 3 decades of this. And I'm trying to do my best to encapsulate what I know inside of 60 seconds and make it make sense. That way you can observe it, you can watch it, you can measure it, and still sticking to what I believe my experience calls for in a direction and where I think it may go to. So we're not using retail logic. We're looking at things that I've already taught, and I'm fleshing out more things for the people that haven't really found their way. I've had students just in the last 2 weeks come to me and say, look, I was a 2016 mentorship student. That means that was the first class, the first one, okay? They've not been able to find a model or get over the fear of getting in. They've been doing the drills. They did it, not just this one here. They did it last year I did one. I did a live stream where I was talking about, here, this is how you practice. They worked from that time last year all through the end of this year and then started trading in February. And now they can find their entries. They can take it with no fear, and they have confidence. And sure, please don't be offended by this. Sure, they're only making $200 a week, but guess what that they're doing? They're making $200 a week that they wasn't making before. And they're confident that they're going to be able to do that in perpetuity. That's what I teach. I teach you to have a very easy, low-hanging fruit objective to start with and aspire to that, not get the highest payout in history, not be the first one to get $5 million payout. I'm not teaching that. I'm thankful that my students are the ones that hold those titles, if you want to call it that. But I don't harp on that. I'm talking micro still this year. And by having a realistic approach in the beginning and having all these things come together and culminate over time, because you're allowing for that to happen. And I'm not telling you that you're going to learn this overnight. It's going to take you some effort and time, and it's going to take a lot of practice doing certain things that are boring. They seem like they're unprofitable in the beginning. And if you listen to other people, they'll talk you right out of it. But I promise you, all those other people are working a job. They can't trade profitably. They've never made any real money, and they would love nothing more to see you say, yeah, I'm going to join the bandwagon, and I'm going to trade something other than ICT. If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to cry about it, because you leaving this and doing something else, and you find profitability doing something else, that doesn't diminish what I do. It doesn't diminish what we do as a community. It doesn't diminish the effectiveness of what it is that we trade with. It doesn't. But the human mind desires comfort. And in the beginning, when you have such a degree of attention placed on one focal person, me, and I've created that polarizing condition, either you love what I'm teaching or you can't fucking stand it for various reasons. There's no gray area in the middle. Either you're all in on what I teach or you're absolutely 100% against it. And I wanted it to be polarizing because it helps me ferret out the bullshit artists. If you're going to be here, that means it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of work. And you're going to have a lot of questions that take time to answer. And a lot of those answers happen because it's in your hands that you find them. Books aren't going to fill in. Short 5-minute trainer version. I watched the ICT videos, all of them, and I'm going to condense it down, and so that way you don't have to do that. When you walk away, the only thing you saw them do is demonstrate how they're using the content. You can't replicate what they're doing, but you gave them ad revenue. That's all that works. Okay, that's all it works by doing that. And that's somebody that needs grocery money. That's great. I'm telling you, there's no shortcut. I created this stuff. I know how the concepts work together. And I'm telling you, the only way you're going to learn how to do this is by placing yourself in the charts, spend time with me in the live stream, listen to the things I'm talking about. Because those are the things that either you've seen them happen in your own trading and you just don't know how to get through it, or it's going to happen to you and now you've heard my point or speaking on it. So it helps get you through that grind where you may be struggling and you're hung up and you just can't get past it. I've had students that were just hardliners that unless I figure out this one question, I'm not going any further. Okay, quit. You're telling me that you can't be taught. You're unteachable. So if you're unteachable, I'm not going to play a teacher in that environment. I'm not going to waste my time and effort. But you have to admit that this is very difficult. It's going to take time. But the fruits of knowing what you're doing and how to engage, when not to engage, that's the stuff that makes us shine. We know what we're looking for, why it should materialize in price action, and we have a statistical probability of it seeing it repeat over and over again. That's not 100%. It just means that your model that you find and fashion through your own experience in the tape, watching price, you're going to see what you see many times. And it's a byproduct of you doing that, not watching my videos, not watching my trade examples. I've never had a profitable student come forward and say, I watched your YouTube videos and it just worked for me. They're always the ones that say, I watched your videos, I took lots of notes, and I would go in, I start with one concept, one principle, and I applied it for weeks and months, and I tape read, and I do this, and I did some demo trading after I thought I had a model together, and I had to go back to square one, and I fixed what I was doing wrong, and I brought some toxic things to it, and I got rid of that stuff. I got rid of the toxic relationship. I got out of the bad job that was making me feel like I have to make more money right now because it was a time drainer. All these personal things that I can't as a mentor fix. But you have to highlight what those things are, and you have to tackle them. And when you fail because of those things that you're not telling the public, because I had lots of people come out and they make these little videos, I left ICT because I don't make any money, blah, 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 and I'm going to do something else. And that the something else never showed profitability either. So what's the problem? The common denominator is they got a fucking problem that they can't resolve because they ignore it. They put blinders on. And trading is a big spotlight. It's a very bright spotlight on everything that you do and think incorrectly. And traders that are honest and say, I have real frailties and flaws, and I had to correct these things before I found profitability. Those people, I respect those types of testimonies, even if they trade other stuff, whatever they trade. If they come out and they say, this is what I had to deal with in the beginning, and I had to fix a lot of things that were personal to me. And when I did that, then I could make money, because you're in the way. And you don't want to believe that's the case because you think highly of yourself. And you spent all of your life as an adult, you spent all of that time hiding that part of you. You see it in the mirror. You know all of those things, your little love handles, those little cracks in your face. If you're a woman, you're getting those little, they call them 11s. My wife was telling me, am I getting 11s? Especially there's a little 2 lines between your eyebrows women are freaking out about now. I said, you're not getting Botox. I don't see it. And if it does, I don't care. We're getting older. Who gives a shit? Okay, you can wrinkle up like a fucking prune. You're my wife. I love you. The point is when you have these character flaws as a trader, we magnify them so much deep down under our skin, they will manifest and bleed out into our actions. And because you constantly beat yourself up, or you rush yourself thinking you should learn it faster, you think that you're not doing as well as you should. So what is your subconscious going to do? It's going to try to counsel you. It's going to try to encourage you. And then you're going to feel that. And you're going to say, you know what? All this is doing is making me feel uncomfortable because I have shortcomings and I don't like that. So to prove that and to cancel that feeling I have, I'm going to go in and take a trade. And the outcome of that trade is going to help distract me from what I'm feeling is the problem that I haven't corrected, haven't resolved it yet, haven't changed my way of thinking about it. I haven't done the work of cleaning up my house. So that trade, the outcome has so much more emphasis placed on the result of it being net positive or net negative, that you're creating this paradigm of trading is a be-all, end-all, life or death transaction. And you wonder why it's feeling so difficult for you. Because you're creating that perspective. Nobody told you that's what it is, but you've adopted it. And it's because you're weighing your future success, or likely not thereof, against your frailty right now. And you're struggling to get through that part. And you want to run fast through that, like a child in the dark. When the light gets turned off, you got to run past your closet to get to your bed. Well, you haul ass and jump in the bed because you think there's a monster in there. There is no monster. You told yourself there's a monster in there. So what do? You run real fast. You stump your toe in your fucking Tonka truck and tear the nail off. And now you're screaming and crying. And now there's got to be a monster now because you got bit by it. That's what we do as brand new students, as brand new traders. We have all of these little scary things that we keep running in our mind. And the things that we have that are personal that cause those things, they're deterrents to development. And until you correct those things, and all of us have them, there's never been a person that has no character flaws as a trader in the first stages. Everybody has their own problems. Impatience, greed, narcissism. You think it's going to be easy for you because you did well in sports. I did real well in academics, so that means it's going to be easy for me. My uncle thought that. Okay. And we listen to lawyers in our community. We listen to doctors in our community. We listen to engineers in our community, and we're all wrestling with the same stuff. And the same stuff is humanity. That's the common denominator with all of us. We're all human, and we're all prone to make mistakes. We're all prone to be harder on ourselves than we should be. And as traders, it is exasperated. It's like rocket fuel and pouring gas on a fire, because what you do and how you think dictates the results. You can have a winning model, perfect model. If you have toxic thinking about yourself, if you're not comfortable in your own skin, if you're not comfortable with the measured success that's reasonable in the beginning, you're going to do more than what's necessary. You're going to do more than what's required of your present understanding and skill set. And that is not production. That's not productive. It's not helpful. It's actually counterintuitive and counterproductive, because you're trying to make the model do something it wasn't designed to do. You want to show over time that you can follow the model. And many times I had students come forward, they explained what their model was, and I even confirmed, hey, look, that's a really good model. If you stick with that, you should do well. and they don't stick with it. And they show me trades. Well, I lost on here, I lost on that. Can you show me how I could avoid this? I said, well, show me your trade entry. And their trade entry has nothing to do with their model. So what are they doing? They're masking. They're putting blinders on. They're messing it up by not following the model, but they're looking for me to give them comfort, to soothe them, to put a little bit of salve on that wound they've created, that little burn. And those students aren't developing because they're hiding their flaws. They're calling it something else. And many of you that are probably listening to this, I'm probably making very uncomfortable because I'm pegging you right now. I've nailed you to the wall right now. And you're thinking, shit, he's talking about me. But don't feel bad, because that's the majority of everybody when they first start out. Or for the people that constantly stay in that loop of learning and never doing anything with it. The common denominator is you. You're the problem. You're the solution. You're the person in control when that starts taking progress forward and not going backwards. If you're stagnant and you feel like you're just taking new information all the time and you're not seeing any results, go back to square one. Tape read, no demo trading, no hard bias. You're just going in there, reading price action. In 6 months, you'll be a totally different person. But you have to put down the baggage. You got to clean up your closet, clean up your house, get rid of the bullshit. Stop telling other people what you're doing, because they're going to have you demand, actually, from you that you're showing progress, because they want to be entertained. Your best friends and your family, they just want to hear that you're failing, because that justifies why they did a good job of not listening to doing what you wanted to do. And that's the truth. And I'm telling you, that's God's honest truth. These people that you love and that you know as friends, they don't really want to see you succeed. Because if you do, that means you left them behind. And they didn't join and do it when you first started. And when that happens, it makes it very toxic. And the only way they can reconcile that is ask you constantly for feedback. And if you're not making lots of money right away, they feel better because they didn't do what you said you were going to do. And they stay in that rat race loop. And those things tend to repeat all the time. And it's worse in the trading community because everybody's struggling to find something in the beginning. They might make a little bit of money here, but then blow it, or sometimes never even find any success. And when they see other people encouraging others with their results and saying, I stuck with this, it was hard, blah, 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 they're going to come on there and they're going to talk all kinds of nonsense. And it's meant for them to soothe themselves. They want to see someone else feeling bad because that's what they feel. They feel like they're the only one that can't make money. So they go online, they troll. They go online and they discourage other people. And it's not just in our community. Everybody out there, no matter what they're trading, they always have these people constantly running their mouth. And that's how you know who's making money. If anybody's talking about somebody else complaining about how, oh, you do that, they're not profitable, they're broke, and they're miserable. And that's the truth, man. It is the truth, because nobody doing well has time to be bullshitting with that. Nobody does. Okay. So anyway, I spent a little bit too much time. I'm gonna have to go in the doghouse, I'm sure, because of this. But it is what it is. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, Lord willing.
Have a great one, everyone.
Bye, everyone.